Welcome to another episode of The Daily Dive, where we talk about stories and how they affect how we see the world. Today we're going to be talking about a TED Talk by Chimamanda Adichie called The Danger of a Single Story. It's all about how only hearing one side of the story can be a huge problem.
To really emphasize the importance of sharing all the different perspectives, we are talking to you from different parts of the universe. Hi, my name is Tanisha Pidshetti, and I'm speaking from a much larger view, outer space.
Hello, my name is Dean, and I am here in the sunny beaches of Hawaii.
And I'm Sreeja, and I'm here from Paris. Wee.
Hello, my name is Bhumi, and I'm from the Maldives. The beach behind me is beautiful and shiny, so let's dive in and explore. So what exactly is a single story?
I can answer that. Let's break it into parts. Let's first focus on the speaker of The Danger of a Single Story. Chimamanda Adichie is a storyteller who captivates her audience through personal anecdotes to convey her message. As both the author and the speaker, Adichie uses her experiences to draw the audience and convey her powerful narrative. The occasion of The Danger of a Single Story is a TED Talk presentation delivered in Oxford. Adichie draws primarily from her experiences in Nigeria, her home country. She reflects on her upbringing and cultural background in Nigeria and her educational experiences in the United States. The settings of her narratives, both in time and place, clearly inform her discussion, illustrating Nigeria's cultural wealth and economic challenges. The primary audience of The Danger of a Single Story is all the listeners, regardless of their race or nationality. Adichie encourages everybody to recognize the limitations of a single story and discover multiple perspectives to deepen their understanding of the world. Since universal themes are being addressed, the text is likely being directed towards a broader audience. Adichie wrote The Danger of a Single Story for the global audience because she urges them to consider the power of stories to influence someone's identity, shape stereotypes, and pave a path to empathy. At its core, the talk encourages the audience to recognize how much multiple stories matter rather than just one. By sharing her own experiences of growing up in Nigeria and encountering stereotypes, she persuades the audience to sympathize with her perspective and reflect on their own biases. The subject of The Danger of a Single Story is the widespread influence of stereotypes and the importance of embracing multiple perspectives to develop empathy and understanding. Through her talk, Adichie exposes biases and assumptions that emerge from narratives, as well as the profound impact it has on someone's identity. She also highlights the dangers of reducing cultures and people to a single story. Adichie strategically uses humor to engage with her audience, creating a sense of relatability. She also employs repetition with the phrase, a single story, to emphasize the importance of embracing multiple perspectives and to create a rhythmic continuity that reinforces her argument. This repetition underscores the dangers of a single perspective leading to oversimplification and stereotyping. Towards the conclusion, Adichie's tone becomes more passionate and urgent, highlighting the importance of defining single narratives. Her direct language prompts the audience to consider the impacts of narratives on society and perception shaping.
Yeah, I really liked how Adichie began recounting her childhood in Nigeria, where she was an avid reader immersed in British and American children's literature. Despite living in a diverse culture with its own stories and traditions, Adichie was captivated by books featuring characters and settings vastly different from her own experiences. All these stories were all similar, with one common thing, the white and blue-eyed main character. As a child, she shaped her writing around this ideology, as she could not really relate to them. Now, discovering African books also had shifted her perspective and made her realize that people like her could actually exist. Another personal anecdote that I found significant through her speech was, upon arriving to the United States for university, Adichie encountered a striking example of the power of the single stories. Her roommate expressed surprise, assuming that Adichie's background must have been vastly different from hers. Her American roommate was confused when Adichie said that she had learned English in Nigeria and that it was even their official language. In addition, she asked if she could actually listen to her tribal music, soon only to be disappointed because she produced a tape of Mariah Carey. I mean, who doesn't like Mariah Carey, but... Before she even moved to the US, she never really identified as an African. However, in the US, her identity was shaped all around her race. Everyone had the same single story about Africa and many other countries. They were countries that were in great poverty, a place with incredible landscapes, and they fought many wars, and most of all, they were saved by white people. She admits, even if she had grown up in the US, she would have believed the story about Africa. Overall, Adichie's TED Talk was a powerful call to action, reminding us of the importance of embracing diverse perspectives and narratives. By amplifying the voices of those whose stories have been overlooked, we can begin to dismantle the limitations of single stories. Adichie's message was universal, highlighting the danger of the single stories and how they can shape the individual perceptions and interactions, perpetuating stereotypes and limiting our understanding of the world. But I was wondering, how does this all connect with the real world?
Of course! The text The Danger of a Single Story explores the roles of identity, culture, and language within the real world and how they are all intertwined with each other to influence one's life. Adichie emphasizes the complexity of identity, describing the various components of an individual, from race, culture, and experiences that determine the truth of who a person is. To provide a specific example of the consequences of the impact single stories have on identities, Adichie shares a personal experience from her childhood. She discusses Fidi, a young boy who would often help them in their house and lives in poverty. Her only opinion of Fidi was corrupted by the knowledge that he was poor, not able to break free from this narrow-minded perspective until she witnesses another part of his life. With Adichie's personal experience, as well as the other examples, I am able to witness the direct impact of a single story and the effect it has both on the victim and the accuser. From Adichie's inspirational message, I'm reminded of the need to approach individuals and cultures with openness and curiosity, recognizes who they are apart from the prejudices they may face. Adichie also illustrates the connection between the narrow-minded views and culture. As portrayed in Adichie's narrative, culture serves as a powerful tool through which individuals use to perceive the world around them. It influences perspectives, behaviors, and interactions involving beliefs, values, customs, traditions, and practices passed down through generations. Oftentimes, a dominant culture may shape perceptions of other cultures into a narrow viewpoint, imposing their own beliefs and expectations on others. This not only establishes stereotypes, but causes a limited understanding of complex cultures around the world. This can be seen through a personal experience Adichie provides when she first moved to the United States of America for college. Her roommate, heavily influenced by the portrayal of Africa through American media, had grown up believing that all Africans were uncivilized and unaware of the modern world. When they met, Adichie's roommate acted upon these stereotypes by assuming Adichie's cultural without gaining a complete understanding. From this message, I'm reminded of the power cultural has due to the significant influence it has over an individual's beliefs and values. With this, I can acknowledge the limitation single stories brought about by my culture that can have over my perspective of the world. I will broaden this narrow-minded perspective by rejecting these biases and assumptions. And we can't forget about the significant impact of language through single stories shaped around the world. She emphasizes how literature serves as a powerful tool for representing narratives and stories from specific perspectives. When individuals read through particular stories from specific authors, their perspectives are inevitably influenced by the author's values and beliefs. Language, through its use in literature and media, can also play a significant role in creating narrow-minded views. Adichie reveals the power of language and its corruption over an individual's mind, whether intentional or not, through a similar situation she had faced. When living in America, the political tension regarding immigration and its ties to Mexico was prevalent. The American media portrayed Mexican immigrants in a certain factor, leading Adichie to group all Mexicans under the same category. Her perspective of this group was shaped by the single story shared throughout America. However, upon visiting Mexico, this narrow-minded view was broken, as she was able to see Mexico not through the lens of America, but through her own eyes. From Adichie's central message within her personal experience, I'm reminded of the strength language has over individuals, slowly influencing and corrupting their mindset to focus on the provided perspective.
Oh, that reminds me about the book, Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zoel Neale Hurston. Hurston and Adichie were both women of color who contributed to the world of literature through the use of African American language. Coming from a community with individuals from a minority, it is important to understand one's self-identity through educating individuals about the experiences of others. Adichie mentions reducing one's identity into a single narrative, emphasizing how it takes away from one's complexity. These themes can be found in Janie's journey through life as it reveals how her identity influences her perspective of the world. It demonstrates that one's identity is a component that encourages readers to view others' story from a different perspective, in an attempt to avoid the stereotypes that come into mind, leading towards an open mindset. These are the components that make each individual different, allowing for the exposure of various culture, backgrounds, and perspectives. The fact that one acts and looks differently from another, as well as has values and morals that are different from others, should not be considered an indication of superiority. Pushing others to put in the effort to approach others with an open mind and to empathize with others' journey can be a crucial part of breaking these stereotypes. Though this change will take time, it is important to embrace the diversity of our society and appreciate the richness of our backgrounds, which makes each and every one of us unique.
Wow, this was such a great discussion.
I completely agree. I learned much more about single stories.
I know, it really opens my eyes up to stereotypes and the effect they have on us.
Well, I hope we can take this awareness with us and implement it in our lives as well.
Thank you to all our listeners. We hope you enjoyed our conversation about the danger of the single stories as much as we did discussing it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.